In the past 80 years, right? So Lazada try our best, to deliver the best experience, to the local market. So we building those infrastructures, to also provide the best local services. We just hope, we can building up kind of like a local ecosystems, right? So from logistics, from payment, from entertainment, from the traffic, from the onboarding, to building these local ecosystems to make the e-commerce, as a sustainable, long-term growing business. But we're building ecosystems. We're not building for ourselves. We're building ecosystems. So only ecosystems partner success, the whole everyone in this game success, and then we can success. Also, thank you for your time, right? So thanks for coming. Lazada has been in the Thailand market for 80 years already, right? So we are the number one e-commerce platform. And in the past 80 years, right? So Lazada try our best, to deliver the best experience, to the local market. So we build one of the largest local marketplace. We're also building up the last mall, since 2 years ago. Now we're also building up the local logistics, and the warehouse capabilities. So all those initiatives we are building in here actually is only to serve the local customers and also to support the local brands and SMEs. So Lazada now is part of the Alibaba groups, right? As Alibaba, we always believe, it's our vision is to make it easier to do business anywhere, right? So talk about the impact. I think we're working every day. We're trying to focus on a few things, right? So for the local marketplace, our focus is to number one, how can we serve more local sellers, right? To make more seller to come to Lazada and to selling more easily. And actually today is a Lazada customer day, right? So this morning, personally, I also talked to quite a few, the local sellers and the representative, right? So to listen to their voices, how can we support them? There's one example making me feel very touched. Is like during the COVID-19 period, and all the offline shop been shutting down. There's one seller selling the motor spare parts, and their offline shop been shutting down, right? So they start their online shop, and then when they open the shop on the Lazada in the 5 months, they're growing tremendously, right? So we see, the power, how we can supporting the people, right? Especially during this COVID-19 period. That's only one example. Actually, during the COVID-19 situations, we did a lot of efforts, trying to support the local community. For example, we launched the SME stimulation packages. We also launched the ambassador programs, to supporting on the brands. We also supporting we also continually pushing on the logistics to ensure the delivery services during the shutting down period, right? So that is the one part, of our work, we've been done to supporting the local, SMEs communities. For the brands part, right? So Lazada now have the largest online, let's say the shopping mall, right? We call it the last mall. So last mall has been building in for almost 2 years, right? So we just successfully revamped it, and then during this 9-9 period, we also see a huge uplift, right? So in the mega campaign. And right now, there's probably more than 3,000 brands, selling on the Lazada with more than 6,000 last mall brand store, right? So we already building up the largest online brands mall, right? We see the Thai customers also more and more, chasing on the branded products. They want to buy more good products, brand products, right? With a good quality, good services, right? So that's why we catering this trend, right? So we capture this trend. We also leading on this trend, since a few years ago. Now we see the result, right? So. So very happy also to be able to be the key partners of the many the key brands, right? So Double 11 is also coming, right? So it's probably even much bigger than the 9-9 also. So we're going to bring the largest festival also to the local market. Besides the last mall, we also are trying very hard, to building the foundation services in this market. So by saying it's the logistics and also the payment, right? Lazada we have our own Lazada Express, right? So we call it LEX. We're also building up the local fulfillment centers, right? So to open to all the brands and the sellers. So we're building those infrastructures, to also provide the best local services, right? So how can we deliver, let's say, in same day, in next day, in 2 days, right, for the whole country? And then how can we provide the fulfillment services to the brands, to the small sellers, so they don't need to worry about those like a warehouse, those very operational issues, right, to make them life much easier. And then besides of the logistics, we also building up, we call the payment solutions. Lazada have the Lazada wallet. Lazada also the first company building up the we call the COD, right? So cash on deliver. So consumer don't need to worry about the risk, right? So you pay when you get the products. And by building all those things together, is only for our mission, to supporting the local and the building up the local team, supporting the local SME groups. So in the past 8 years, Lazada developed, probably we develop almost all the first generation of the e-commerce talent. So we have all the senior management is from the local, right? So probably more than 98% of our team also all Thai, right? So we building this local talent. We're not only making business, we're not only selling, but also we developing the local talents. So to making the local team growing and learning and also can leading, in the future. So that's kind of like the impact, from the both business side and also from the team side. So I think in the local, right? So we're working with many different, the companies, right? And also we're working very closely with the governments, right? So let me talk about the government collaboration first, right? So there's one project which was just launched probably 1 or 2 months ago. We're working with the MOC, to support it on the local Thai farmer, right? So we're building up the online kind of like a fruit market, open only to the local farmers, mainly in the rural and in the north part. So we enable them to selling the fruit online, right? We also provide the trainings and also certain Lazada kind of like a platform resources like to supporting them. So this is we co-develop with the MOC together and successfully launched, right? So like I talked to the government, right? It's like a starting, right? It's just the first step. So in the future, we hope we can enable just local farmers not only selling on Lazada, but also we can helping them to selling in the other country, right? To the other Lazada ventures or even to China, to Tmall, to Taobao. Right, so that is one of the good examples, how we're supporting, working with the different departments. And besides the government, we're also working very closely with the other like tech companies. So, for example, we're working with Google, Facebook, to helping the brands, the local sellers to get the traffic, from the social media, right, to supporting their business, right. We're providing kind of like a value-added online marketing services, for our brands, for our sellers. And we're also working with kind of like offline, our partners, to do some like online, offline events, right? So all in all, we working, no matter we're working with the government, working with the other partners, we just hope, we can building up kind of like a local ecosystems, right? So from logistics, from payment, from entertainment, from the traffic, from the onboarding, to building these local ecosystems to make the e-commerce, as a sustainable, long-term growing business. Thanks for the question, right? So O2O actually is one of the initiatives Lazada has been launching since the past 2 years, right? And I remember the first time we launching is we starting from we call the install business, right? Lazada install business. The first time we using is we create a local offline, a weekend market, right? It's mainly for the fashion brands, local fashion brands, right? Especially the Instagram fashion brands. So we bring the brands, come to the online, and then we also host the offline. So people come to the offline, they can see, they can buy, they can experience, and then they can also purchase online, right? So by using the sounds like very simple, but behind of it, the technology actually is all come from the Lazada and also Alibaba Group. We call the O2O technology. So we enable the people buy online, but taking offline. And also along the way, we continually upgrading our O2O formats, right? So this year, besides of the women festivals, besides of the, let's say, we work with the Zabang sale, continually on the offline fashion sales. We're also working with offline shopping malls, to push on the kind of like more upgrade or innovative, the O2O strategy, right? So if you visit our recent, our pop-up store, we working with kind of like a few brands and also with the different, sellers to provide a holistic, innovative designs, right? Get the customer interest, get customer awareness, and also get the customer engagement. Okay, so frankly speaking, right? So I also heard from the news, right? So it's like I'm not in that deal. I'm not in that position, so I cannot comment on that. But I think one thing I can share is overall, I think the Lazada, we are a local company, right? So our commitment is to supporting and building up the local ecosystems, to building up the local digital capabilities, right? Lazada is very different with the other tech companies. So we are actually 100% based in here. We not only do selling, but we also doing building, for example, from the, like I mentioned, right? So from the seller communities, right? So from the local campaigns, right? From the local O2Os, local marketings, local services, local logistics, everything is based on the local. So we believe, we have to put all the essential department local, we can serve the local communities. So actually for Lazada, all the people, you see, we have a big office, right? So all the people staying here and supporting on the local. So I won't be surprised, if you have more collaborations with other local giants, right? So local leading companies. So the ecosystems cannot be only Lazada. The ecosystem need the partners, need the different angles, right? So together, we can make the whole market very vibrant, the whole market very dynamic, and in the end, will be the consumer enjoy the more benefit. It's a good question, right? And frankly speaking, I never think Lazada is MNC. I think Lazada is a Thai company, is a local company. Lazada is part of the Alibaba groups, right? And but frankly speaking, all the key decisions we made locally. So from the Alibaba group perspective, right? So there's no kind of like a day-to-day hands-on direction. It's all like local. We make the decision what the direction we want to do, right? For example, for the Double 11, for the 99, how we serving the local market, how to do the O2O, logistics is all actually local decision, right? So that's why you see Lazada between the different country actually are quite different, right? From that perspective, Lazada is a truly local company, but we do actually share the same values, as Alibaba Group. Right. For example, Alibaba believe, customer first, the employee second, shareholders three, right? So in here, we also truly believe on that, right? So we always, within the team, within the company, we talk about how we treat the customer first, right? Customer including our buyers, including our sellers, including our partners, right? How we supporting them, making them to be the best, right? I wouldn't say Lazada is perfect right now, right? So we still have a lot of work we need to continually working on, but that is our true belief. So that part, I would say is the same as Alibaba Group. We're sharing with the group, and but besides that, I would say we work locally. We develop locally, and we also want to win locally. And so from the culture perspective. Because 99% probably our team is all local Thai. So I think the only issue is like for me how to adapt to more in here. I try my best to learn some Thai. I try my best, to be more Thai and Thai food. I like the Thai food, and but beside the living, I think from the working perspective, we treat ourselves, we believe ourselves it's just a local Thai company. Yeah. But we do have the different employee from different country. Right? We have the people from France. We have people from China. We also have people from Malaysia. We also have people from Singapore. So Lazada, in terms of the culture, we are rather diversified. We don't obviously have the people from India. People from a lot of different countries. Right? So we don't care, where's the peoples come from. We care is let's say, hey, do you share the same value? Do you believe the same vision? How we can working together as a truly like a local company and supporting the local communities and achieve the target together. This is we are quite proud, with our diversified, culture. So we have the different countries. We have a different. You see, we have actually even more female employee, in the office than a male employee, right? We also have the different religions, so it's very diversified, very open, environment. No, definitely, right? I think in the 2020, 2020 is not a normal year, right? So much things happen. We do see, the pandemic, change a lot of things, right? And we see the customer behavior also changes, right? So we see, for example, in the March, people buy a lot of electronic things. Probably people prepare to stay in home, right? And then people buy a lot of electronics, home living. And now, people buy a lot of fashion, probably because the lockdown is finished. People go out, right? But very important is like we see the people from the behavior to purchasing more online, right? This is one of the changes we see very clearly in this year. Right, and we do believe this trend is going to be continually, in the long run. Next year, I think from my personal view, I do believe we probably not only next year, probably in the long run, we do believe the online going to be more diversified, going to be more. Let's say we have to capturing the customer more diversified the needs. Right, but now when more and more mainstream consumer come into the online platform, they buy more and more diversified items. So it means you have to meet more diversified requirement. People not only expecting you with good items, with a cheaper price, with the best logistics. People may also want to see, hey, how can they get more fun, from the platform? How can they get, more interesting stuff, more unexpected stuff from the platform, right? So that is actually also linked back, to one of the strategy we pushed in the last year, which called the shoppertainment, right? So we launched the live streaming. We work with quite a lot of like local KOLs, we call the lots of celebrities, right? Also our ambassadors, to bring in those like. Not only the shopping experience, but more like entertainment, experience, to the online platform. 99 and also the last campaign, we have a kind of like a live streaming show, right? We invite our lots of celebrities and come to our platform. A lot of like their fans also coming in. People, interactive and watch the performance of their KOLs, from the Lazada platforms. And we see very, very popular, right? And we also have a lot of like online kind of like a live streaming technology open to the brands, open to the sellers. They can also not only selling, but also do more branding, do more engagement, with the customers. So that is we call the shoppertainments, right? That is we believe is going to be also more and more important, in the future, right? So. We hope Lazada in the long run can provide the best shopping experience to the consumer, but also we can be a friend of the consumer, a daily friends. Not only you have to buy something can come to Lazada, but also if you want to get something fun, you want to get something interesting, you can also come to Lazada to check out. This is very hard to say, right? It's very, very hard to say. My view is, let's say, when the market is more mature, and actually the format will be more diversified, right? So allow me to use the China as a reference, right? So China e-commerce is developing since the late 90s, early the 20s, right? So we've seen the Alibaba is big and the Taobao is big, but actually you see much more like SMEs, like or entrepreneurs coming up, in China, right? So they're building a lot of, like, for example, vertical channels. They're building the supply chain channels, right? They're building the other part. So when the ecosystem, when the whole industry growing big, so the format under it will be more diversified. So this is the power of the technology, right? So personally, I do believe when in Thailand, when the e-commerce, when the online technology, when the digital becoming more mature, become more penetration more high, there will be a bigger room actually for the SME. There will be a bigger room for the entrepreneur company to coming up. I can share one example, right? And actually, in the past 2 years, there's a lot of like local, entrepreneur company formed, to be Lazada partner. So what they do, they provide the services, to the Lazada seller and the Lazada brands. The services is, for example, they're helping the brands to building up their online shops, helping them to do the online sales and to building up the online strategies. So that part is like in the beginning it's not existed, but in the past 1 or 2 years it's really booming up. So the needs, to be more professional on the online e-commerce, the needs is also increasing. Then to meet that needs, the entrepreneurs, the new companies forming up and the building up. So that is one of the example, right? So we're going to see more and more company, more and more like innovative things, will come from the local. So I never believe, one company can dominate, the whole market. It's not like this. Alibaba's mindset is always open, right? It's always it's like we're building ecosystems. We're not building for ourselves. We're building ecosystems. So only ecosystems partner success. The whole everyone in this game success, and then we can success.